Hello and welcome everyone. My name is David. I work for the Vodafone Institute, which is Vodafone's think tank here based in Berlin. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all very warmly to our panel called Tech Innovations in Health. Today we'd like to talk about how technology is revolutionizing healthcare all over the world, not only in developing countries, but also in the developed world. We will be introduced into or learn more about three outstanding and, as I think, really extraordinary projects and initiatives. And we'd like to get a better understanding how global data exchange, how hyperconnectivity, how data analytics and mobile access can help to improve the diagnosis of diseases and to make treatment more effective, the treatment of physical diseases, but also the treatment of psychological diseases. And of course, we'd also like, if time allows, to address some of the risks and challenges that this will bring about. So if you think about digital solutions in health, and if you try to categorize the arguably revolutionary impact of digital solutions in medical treatment and research, the following four dimensions might come into mind. First of all, digital solutions allow a better understanding of diseases. The most prominent example is probably IBM Watson Analytics being used for cancer research and for detecting patterns in patients' data. Secondly, the digital solutions allow for more individualized, more personal forms of treatment, as probably most of you know. Also based on big data analytics to find really the right treatment for the individual patient. And thirdly, it allows for better accessibility of treatment for patients, but of course also accessibility to networks of expertise, for medical professionals. And last but not least, it will increase the speed of intervention, the speed of treatment. If you think, for example, of reaction to the spread of a disease, an epidemic, particularly in the developing countries. We'll learn more about that in a second. And of course, the issue of e-health has also become a matter of considerable political debate. Let me just quote very briefly the HWO regional director for Europe, who said, "E-health saves lives and money, yet despite many inspiring examples, the progress, e-health is not adopted evenly across the region." So we're still facing a lot of obstacles and problems in terms of regulation, standardization, and so on. And I'm looking forward to learn more about also the challenges and obstacles that you face as someone who actually launched and initiated a project in that arena. But since I'm not an e-health expert myself, I will just shut up and introduce our three panelists who certainly know much more about the issue. I will start with you, Siddhartha della Santina. You are Head of Marketing and Communication at AESD Research and Development based here in Berlin. You are a young biotech company, and you are developing a screening and diagnostic platform which connects point-of-care testing with mobile connectivity, allowing for real-time global healthcare management. Very curious to find out more about that in a second. And also welcome to you, Pirko Selmo. You are a psychologist, and you have developed a state-of-the-art psychological treatment, which is tech-based. You give access to psychotherapy, basically, through apps, through web-based solutions for those who might face boundaries, social or political boundaries, when it comes to undergoing therapy. Also a very great project. And then, last but not least, Janko, who is a social entrepreneur and a biochemist by background and founder of oneworlddoctors.org. One World Doctors enables medical specialists to help with their expertise anytime and anywhere in the world. So basically also a networking platform. Without any further ado, let me just give each of you kind of 5 minutes or so to introduce your work and your project. Sid, may I just start with you, that you give us a bit of an insight into what you actually do.
Of course, with great pleasure. Thank you very much, David, and thank you all for being here. This is such an honor to be able to share with you what it is that we're doing at ASD. Actually, it is really very simple. What we are doing is just taking two revolutionary technologies that have become very stable and have completely disrupted the way in which we think about diagnostics on the one hand, and we think about how it is that we share data and analyze data and access data, and we've put them together. So what we have created is a completely mobile, autonomous diagnostic platform that enables end users with very little medical training to be able to conduct diagnoses at point of care and to be able to share that data in real time over the internet. This opens up endless possibilities, and we know in this globalized world that diseases travel at the speed of jet airplanes. And what we do not have is a medical infrastructure that is able to keep pace. And so what we have done is created a mobile diagnostic platform that is able to keep up with diseases.
And that also has a hardware component, if I'm right. So there's also a device involved.
There is a hardware component. It is a platform. It is composed of a standalone lab. It is beautiful, actually. I mean, it's it weighs 83 grams. It's about 10 centimeters long. Entirely autonomous. The battery life extends up to 2 years. Completely wireless. A testing module that enables you to actually test for up to 12 different biomarkers with one sample, which means that you can go through screening algorithms extremely efficiently. A mobile companion app, which, of course, enables you to access more detailed information about your test, but also enables you to build up a much more comprehensive health data set. And, of course, the command and control center. So, I mean, you can actually have a scalable and expandable network of mobile labs that you can keep track of in real time, globally.
What kind of test does this device allow for? Is that blood or blood testing?
We can test on any matrix which is liquid-based. So blood, urine, saliva, and of course a number of chemical components as well. I mean, it is a system that would allow also for environmental testing or even food safety testing. It is an extremely versatile base technology that we are building the system on.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Pirko, would you like to follow up on that and give us a bit of an insight into your work?
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm also happy to be here and to introduce the project. It's علاج نفسي. This means psychotherapy in Arabic. And like it's important to mention that I did not found this project. It exists since 2007. I'm working in the project since 3 years. This is like a writing therapy. It was developed at the beginning at the University of Amsterdam, and now it belongs to the research department in Treatment Center for Torture Victims here in Berlin. And it also involves the Department for Clinical Psychology at the Free University of Berlin. So what we offer is a psychotherapy, a behavioral, cognitive behavioral based psychotherapy for post-traumatic stress disorder and depression over the internet. And the whole treatment is in Arabic. That means we only have like the criteria to participate in this treatment is like we make a diagnosis, and for people it's important to be able to write and read in Arabic, and then it doesn't matter where they are. These are the two disorders that we treat: post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. At the beginning, the project was thought as a small project for trauma treatment for Iraqi victims of the war, and then it expanded to accept from all over the country. I think the main thing that we are doing here, the main innovation that modern technology has made possible is that we tackle, it's a problem of capacity and distances. There is no capacity in these countries that we offer treatment. The numbers are scaring, like one psychiatrist or psychologist per 100,000 inhabitants, for example, and we build up teams. Now we have a team in Egypt, and we are building one in Jordan. And some psychotherapists like me who work here in the center, and we offer a kind of treatment of the art. Yeah, this means for post-traumatic stress disorder to make an exposition therapy, a confrontation therapy. This is according to the modern understanding of this disorder. This is the best treatment that you can offer. We offer this treatment in such high standards, in a country where actually simple forms of medical or health aid are scarce.
Could you give us an idea how that actually works? It's kind of hard to imagine how you can do psychotherapy over the web. Is that, do you, I don't know, what is it written or in kind of, I mean, there is no kind of actual interaction between therapist and
yes.
And patient.
We have developed an own platform, like an online platform where participants can register and then they begin filling in a questionnaire. These are they help us to diagnose, standard measurements, and when they are accepted, then they can make an appointment, and the interview, this is a diagnostic interview or a counseling interview for those who are not eligible for the study. This is done over Skype. This is like a 1-hour diagnostic session, and after that the participants are either accepted in the treatment or refused with some suggestions about how to deal with their problem. All of this is also a clinical trial. That means we have exclusion and inclusion criteria. And when it works, then in the treatment we have a set of letters. This is like a manualized treatment. That means there are special steps to go in the therapy, and over this platform which is also secure, to make sure about that no data leaks out and something. This is we develop in the project. And it is a writing, we give assignments to the patients, and then the therapist reads this assignment and writes back and gives, for example, it is the same technique of cognitive behavioral therapy, but modified to work via writing.
Okay, great. Let's get into that a bit deeper in a minute. But first, I would like to give Janko a chance to introduce One World Doctors, and you brought a couple of slides. So, Janko, please go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I brought a few slides, and I think if we can switch that. Actually, the slides, there's also some numbers in it. I think the whole panel is involved, or that take part of this. Can we switch to the presentation, please? In fact, we are focusing on one goal. It's ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages, and that's also a global goal for sustainable and development goal from the United Nations. And what we want to do is to connect weak health systems with systems which are where more doctors are present. For example, in Nigeria, there's only 1 doctor per 100,000 inhabitants. And in Germany, it's around 400, and Cuba, it's 600. And this number shows that there are weaker and more fragile health systems, and these are very fragile in case when it comes to a catastrophe. like it was happening 2014, 2015 when Ebola stroke in Nigeria and leaving behind more than 11,000 deaths. And this fact is okay. And we thought about the possibility, that a test can be made on site. A blood test, for example, can be taken by a non-professional medical co-worker, for example, doesn't have to be a medical doctor. Then this sample gets analyzed, and the result, if it's not clear and impossible to be evaluated on site, can be uploaded on a server. The data can be then accessed by medical experts around the globe, and they can then evaluate the data, send it back to the doctor on site, and thereby improve the health system. That's actually the core idea of this project we initiated 1 year ago. And in terms of data security, we guarantee the highest standards, and all the data which are uploaded get anonymized. So all tattoos and all personalized data get be anonymized. Unfortunately, the presentation didn't work, but in fact, that's actually the project.
Okay, well, we can do without slides. So let me just start off the discussion by asking you, Janko, I mean, your starting point, or kind of where you come from when looking at the world as it is, basically, is that I think you described it on your website as the brain drain in particular countries. We have a brain drain in the developing countries. Many medical professionals, tend to leave the country. A critic might argue that your solution, might actually accelerate that process because people do not have to be on site anymore. I mean, this is a criticism I heard, again and again, that kind of decentralized, globalized digital solutions, kind of make the problem that where we come from more stagnant or might even accelerate it. What would be your take on that?
Well, I think it can't become worse if like the number I told you, 1 doctor per 100,000 inhabitants in Nigeria and Sierra Leone, I think that it almost can't become worse. Well, if we can really do that, I mean, we cannot. If we can make the diagnosis remotely, maybe that would even maybe lead to a better health system if that becomes a normal way to analyze data. If you have like a sample preparation tool where the sample gets collected, for example, the blood test, and then the evaluation can be done anywhere in the world, I think that would be maybe also lead to a better outcome.
So what would be your vision for the future? Do you think that at some point we will have kind of global centers of research, of medical excellence, where all this laboratory work's being performed, is being done, and that, in most of the, rural areas or less developed areas and countries, we do not have to build up these infrastructures because it will all be done remotely. Is that kind of how it will look like if we think of Africa and,
Yeah, like sample collection stations would be possible, that they can be more remotely installed, and also the machines they run quite robust, or the samples can then be transported to a bigger center where they get analyzed, and then the evaluation can be done anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we all talked about data, and you're all dealing more or less with sensitive patients' data. How do you, question to the two of you, make sure that the data you store, you collect, you store and analyze are being treated safely and within the kind of legal and ethical boundaries that we wish for, and that, for example, in Germany we have, but in many other countries we do not have these standards. So, yeah, how do you think we can make sure that in the long run, when we, have these visions of a kind of global world of medical data exchange, how can we make sure that these standards are met?
Would you like to Pirko? Go first.
This is actually one of the main issues, that we, I think, in every team meeting we talk about.
I think your microphone is a bit. Yeah.
Better now? I don't know what I cannot see it.
Yeah. A little bit more to the front, maybe. Yeah.
Should I come over?
Is this?
Better?
Yeah?
Yeah. This is one of the issues that we talk about in every team meeting that we have. This is very important. It's important for the patients. Lots of patients, when they start with a therapy, they ask, what about the data? Can somebody else read what I write to you? And this is especially, you can imagine somebody who is being treated for sexual abusement and a woman in Saudi Arabia. For this person, going to a face-to-face therapy would be impossible. So this anonymity and security that no data goes out is very important for the successful of the treatment that we offer. And we have, I don't know the terminology for it, but we have an IT manager who always tells us, he does his best, but he also says 100% nothing is sure in this field. So I mean, even great banks or high secure data that belong to the state sometimes gets
But I mean, do you have something like informed consent? As you know, is that a concept familiar to you? Is that integrated into your app that patients kind of are educated about kind of privacy issues, or is that addressed when you involve someone in that kind of treatment?
Yes, sure. There is an informed consent, and we also have instructions, for example, not to write over Skype, because this is easier for somebody else to get access to, and we do not use for sensitive letters between therapist and patient. We do not use normal email. We instruct to use only the platform that we have designed for the purpose.
Okay. Sid, I mean, of course, also the data that you generate through samples, blood samples and so on are first of all, personal data, and they might also be sensitive data, and they might also have business implications, because some institutions might have a strong interest to get access to these data and to, do whatever kind of business with it. How do you make sure that, as I just said, the standards of privacy protection are met?
That's right. I mean, this is a big issue, and as you say, the regulations do differ from place to place. Our goal is actually to keep our eye firmly on common objectives, and that common objective is to enable patients to get better control over and a better understanding of their own health, of their own health generally, and to give the tools to healthcare providers to better understand how to allocate resources and to predict what is necessary at any given point. On top of that, I mean, all of our data is anonymized and encrypted, and so there is very little chance of misuse in this respect. But we do not have a problem with end users as such. I mean, since we are primarily operating with large organizations who are healthcare providers themselves.
So before data is being transferred, you make sure they are pseudonymized, I would have thought.
Absolutely. I mean, the most important thing, I mean, and this is what we can leverage and gives us this, step forward in the manner in which we think about screening, preventative medicine, personalized medicine, is the capacity to test at point of care and correlate data sets in real time.
Let me ask all three of you a more kind of general question. It's kind of a matter of debate at the moment whether the term revolution is actually appropriate in the current development in e-health. Is it really a revolution? Are we really at a tipping point, and will medicine, say in 10 years, look totally different? Are we kind of about to find the holy grail of, I don't know, curing cancer, just to name one example? I mean, how would you describe that development in e-health? Is it, because, one might also argue that this is a rather stagnant system, it is rather bureaucratic, we have a highly regulated system, you cannot just revolutionize, the health sector from one day to another. How would you describe that process? Is it really a revolution? Yeah, Sid, maybe again you can just follow up.
That's a good point. I mean, I think that we are at the point of a step change in healthcare, and we've seen what it is that mobile technologies and the power of our collective capacity to access data has done to any number of industries. I mean, especially in the media or the financial and banking industries. But even when you allow a vast number of people to actively participate collectively in trying to resolve a common problem, it seems like you get to the answer much more quickly. And this hasn't happened in healthcare yet, and I think that we are going to see a similar shift. I mean, it is going to happen. Whether this is revolutionary or not, I think it is just part of the logic of what it is that the technologies that we have at our disposal allow us to do, and we should do it.
Janko, how would you see it? Is it a revolution going on, or more kind of a transitory, step by step?
I mean, what I see in e-health, there's a lot of lifestyle products, I would say, but also really helpful tools are developed, and especially talking about data accumulation, that you can have bigger data sets, which you can also correlate with different for example, vaccination campaigns with weather, or you can correlate that also with population size. I think that will give more insights and will improve the health system, and also make it more convenient. For example, if you can test yourself, you don't have to go. You have self-testing kits that will come up, and they will improve, make it more convenient and also accessible for certain people, and thereby also be revolutionized.
I'm very sorry, I have to
Yes.
stop now. We want to give the audience a chance to ask a question.
Of course,
as well.
no, that was
There's one. Oh, a
intention,
couple.
yes.
Actually, we can just...
Okay.
Which one is the most important one? You have to decide. Okay, somebody is very bold. So, let's see.
I understood your questions with regards to privacy for patient data, but I didn't understand the answers at all. So it to me looks like that you have kind of a notion of that needs to be some privacy, but I didn't quite get that. You take it not just serious, but you're following known standards in that. Could you elaborate a bit on that, if possible?
This is a question to me. Yes. Well, I mean, we work with regulators and our clients very closely to ensure that all of the data that is generated is as secure and as possible. So I mean, we are extremely aware of what the different regulatory standards are, and we work very closely with our partners to ensure that those standards are met.